Hello and welcome to Auspol Explained. I'm your long curly-haired host David, and today I'm going to explain to you about how political parties choose their leaders. Yes, your Google search has led you to me. So, how do political parties in Australia choose their leaders? Well, the thing is, the rules vary from party to party. So there are laws about who is eligible to be a member of parliament and how elections run and then how parliament operates, but parties are organisations that have their own additional rules for themselves to figure out. So you are electing a member of parliament to be a member of parliament, and also they have joined a club, basically, that is a political party. The rules of parliament and the rules of the club, different things. As a result, this means that, well, there isn't a blanket statement that I can make about every single political party, but I can go through a few examples to demonstrate how it generally works. Also keep in mind, of course, these rules can change. They rarely do, but maybe this will be different in the future. So as of recording in 2025, here is how a few of the parties choose their leaders. Let's start with the Liberals, right? They choose their leader by having a good old classic meeting with all their elected members and senators and then holding a vote. Leadership positions aren't done with like preferential voting. It's like, okay, who are our candidates? I vote for that person, or I vote for that person. If there's like 3 or more potential candidates, then they have rounds where the least popular candidate is eliminated each round and a new vote held until it's just 2, and whoever gets a majority wins. Labor does it differently. So if there are multiple candidates running, then their process includes both their elected members, which they call the caucus, and its overall party membership in the decision. So being a member of a party isn't the same as being a politician. To actually create a political party as a registered entity, you need to have hundreds of members. So parties have just a bunch of people who are paying an annual fee to support the party, say, I'm part of this club, and then this also generally gives those people input in some of the decision-making things, like pre-selection. You know, pre-selection is when a party asks its members in an area to decide, hey, who should we endorse as a candidate to run in an election in this seat? But it's only really Labor and the Australian Democrats who actually ask their broader party membership when it comes to specifically who shall be the leader. When it comes to Labor, the caucus, you know, the elected members, and the party membership are both worth 50% each, but as there's tens of thousands of members of the Labor Party, well, that means being a parliamentarian, your vote is actually worth more. In 2013, when they implemented these rules, Anthony Albanese and Bill Shorten ran for the leadership position. Albanese got more support from the party membership, broadly speaking, but Shorten got more support from the caucus specifically, and then won. Shorten would later resign, and Albanese became the leader unopposed in 2019. So these kind of votes only happen if, you know, there is a vacancy, which either happens when a member of the party is voted out of parliament, when they resign, or when their party sort of moves to challenge their leadership and wants it declared vacant. Rules about leadership challenges also vary from party to party. A bunch of us will remember how between 2007 and 2019, there was not a single Prime Minister who lasted an entire term without being replaced by a leadership spill halfway through. That, by the way, is a thing of the past. It used to be that a majority vote of the caucus was enough to dethrone a Labor leader, but after the Rudd-Gillard-Rudd merry-go-round, Labor decided to change its party rules. So now it requires 60% of members of parliament to agree to remove a leader if they're in opposition, but 75% of them need to agree if they're in government. It would take the Liberals a little bit longer to change their rules. After Morrison replaced Turnbull, he decided to change the Liberal Party rules to require a 2/3 majority to remove a leader, so 66%. I don't know what the rules are for the other parties, but basically, right, we can expect the days of semi-annual leadership challenges to be the thing of the past. We're absolutely going to have some leadership challenges in the future, it's just that, well, the bar is a bit higher to succeed, so it discourages them from happening as frequently. The Greens, on the other hand, vacate the position of leader after every federal election, regardless of the results. Most of the time they actually fill the position of leader unopposed, but they do leave the method of choosing up to their parliamentary members. The Nationals also leave it up to their elected members to choose their leader in the party room. However, it's important to understand that the Nationals and the Liberals are different things. They do have an agreement to work together to form government as a coalition, but they have separate party rooms. So the Liberals only ask Liberal members sitting in the Liberal Party room who their leader should be, and the Nationals only ask Nationals sitting in their party room who the leader should be. While the two parties have pressured the other at times to choose one candidate over the other, they don't actually get a vote when it comes to the party room. Now, where a leader of a party comes from is up to the party themselves to decide. So Labour, the Liberals and Nationals choose their leaders from the House of Representatives, but that is because the convention is that the Prime Minister is a member of the House of Representatives. One time the Liberals chose a Senator, John Gorton, to be their leader after Harold Holt died, and so temporarily we did have a Prime Minister in the Senate. But then also, oh look, there's a vacancy because Harold Holt is dead. John Gorton's going to go run in the by-election, win that, transition to the House of Representatives, continue being Prime Minister in there. So, fixed it, basically. And all it took was Harold Holt to die. Anyway, another element of how the coalition works is that normally the leader of the Liberal Party, when they're in government, their leader gets to be the Prime Minister, whereas the leader of the Nationals gets to be Deputy Prime Minister. So you'll have a Deputy Leader of the Liberals, but they don't get to be Deputy Prime Minister. That's for the leader of the Nationals. As no other political party is going to form government for the foreseeable future, they can pick their leaders from the Senate and there's no issue whatsoever. So while the Greens recently had Adam Bandt as their leader, he was actually the first member of the House of Representatives to be Greens leader. All previous Greens leaders have been senators, and there's no issue with that whatsoever. Fun fact, a party leader does not need to be a member of Parliament. I mean, obviously, not every party has elected members. How parties without parliamentary representation decide their leaders, well, that's up to them. But to really demonstrate how the rules can vary, because parties are just organisations, they come up with their own rules, Katter's Australia Party was founded by Bob Katter. You know, the member for Kennedy, he's a federal parliamentarian. You know who Bob Katter is. Who is the leader of Katter's Australia Party? Not Bob Katter. It's Robbie Katter, his son, who is a member of the Queensland State Parliament, not the federal parliament. How that works, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, you'll have to ask Robbie. To be fair, Bob Katter is the only member of Katter's Australia Party in the federal parliament, so he doesn't exactly have party meetings to decide what he, as an individual, is going to talk about. So yeah, the rules can vary from party to party. Minor parties can, really vary it up a little bit. Keep in mind though, for major parties, being a member of parliament is kind of, a necessity when it comes to being a leader. Like, hypothetically, a major party could have someone who's not a member of parliament be their leader, but they want to form government and the Prime Minister has to be a member of parliament. So it doesn't really work very well to sort of be like, here's our parliamentary team, and also this person who no one voted for. The leader has to be a member of parliament, and almost always is a member of the House of Representatives. And there you have it. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed learning a few things. Share, subscribe, comment down below which political party you would like to be the leader of in your ideal fantasy world where you're a fantastic politician. Let me know. And also, if you like, you can support me on Patreon. I'm incredibly grateful to all those who decide to help me out with a little bit of money every month to support this channel. That's all from me. I'll see you next time.